Hi everyone. Today's special Live with Red Dot Diva is a last minute decision, and it might most probably be the last episode for this year as well, because it's going to be a very busy December month, I suppose, for everyone as well as for me, and SGCC, the Singapore Comic Con, is coming up as well, so that will take up some of my time. And leading up to that, I'm doing some interviews with the artists who will be boothing at Singapore Comic Con as well. So look out for the articles on my blog. And for those who are not familiar with me, hi, I'm Red Dot Diva. I'm a local pop culture and entertainment geeky stuff blogger in Singapore. I do several other things on social media as well, like cute little videos and stuff on posting a lot of pictures on Instagram. And today I'm roping in two of my friends, and we are going to talk about Attack on Titan, this anime series adaptation of the award-winning Japanese manga series by Hajime Isayama. And we just watched the last episode, so we are like eager to talk about it. And we just thought that we would get together and let off steam, let off steam like a titan. And first off, I'll be introducing my guests. The first one on board will be Carlo. Hi, Carlo. Please
Hello.
introduce yourself to the people who are watching in or watching post live.
Hello, I'm Carlo. I'm a doctor and a comic strip cartoonist in the newspapers here in the Philippines and online at caloscomics.com. And I'm also a comic book writer who's been published in the Philippines and in the United States. And I'm also an art and gaming streamer, which is a thing that happened during the pandemic. And I'm also now a podcaster, and Red Dot Diva has been a guest on my show in the past. So, but thank
Yes,
you for having me on your show this time.
right. And then next up is my geek girl pal. It's very hard to find geek girls. Eddie, please introduce yourself.
Hello. Well, I'm not as cool as Carlo,
No,
Oh no, we're all cool. We're
no.
all on Red Dot Diva. That means we're all cool.
Geeks are all cool, yeah.
I'm just a fangirl of things. Anime, superhero movies. Don't know as much nowadays. Comics, and I'm a copywriter by profession, so which means I write every day.
Are you going to continue writing more on your blog though?
I haven't. It's been dead for a while.
Okay, right. We're gonna discuss about Attack on Titan for those who are watching in, and later if you decide to watch post live because you're busy right now from 8 to 9 on a Sunday evening. We know you are busy with families, and I'm just going to clarify that we are going to talk about the anime adaptation and not the manga series. I have to confess though, I hardly read manga. And because most of them are very long, they are serialized, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of chapters. I find that as I age, my eyesight isn't as great as well. Also, to read something too long and too many, like for many hours, right? It really hurts my eyes. So I've been like doing more of short reading, and watching something is easier for me to absorb these days. So, and also for anime, I have to confess, I'm not that much of an anime fan. Also, I think Atty knows that. I don't watch all animes. I've been very, very fussy, and it's really amazing that Attack on Titan caught my attention. And it was like 10 years since this anime has been running, right? On I think different platforms as well, and by different animation company studios as well, since the season one. And season one was actually broadcasted in April 2013. So it's like 2023 now, end of 2023, no, more than 10 years of this Attack on Titan anime. And it's amazing that I still followed through being not an anime fan. So I'm just wondering for you guys, like what got you into the Attack on Titan anime? Maybe Carlo, you can talk about that first.
Oh yeah, Attack on Titan is has an interesting story in my history of geekdom. Because ever since maybe Macross Frontier, which came out in 2008, I thought I was done with anime. I was busy, building my career in comics and in my medical career. I just wasn't watching anime anymore. And then one comic convention over in Cebu, there's
Mm,
this one young guy, probably high school.
mm.
He commissioned me to draw a character, and it turned out to be Mikasa Ackerman.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, who's this character? I don't know this character at all. Because prior to him, sometimes people would ask for anime commissions, like Son Goku. I know who
Yeah,
Goku is,
yeah.
and other and the people from Cowboy Bebop and stuff. But then, yeah, because Ackerman showed up in my requests, and I don't know this character. I'm sorry, but then he was like mortified that I didn't know who she was. Like, how could you not know Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan? I'm sorry. Well, for one thing, is this an anime? Because if it is, I don't really watch that much anymore. And but he was so affected that I didn't know who she was. I still did the drawing. He had some reference images just to cut that story out. So I still accomplished his commission, but he was just so shocked that I didn't know who she was, that night when I got back to my hotel, I looked it up on YouTube. And then
Mm-hmm.
I saw the intro to the first season, and this was back in 2013. The very first season was
Mm-hmm.
still
Yeah, yeah,
airing.
yeah, yeah.
And then I just got hooked that night, just from the intro
Yeah,
sequence,
that
Yes,
the
song.
yes,
opening.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
gosh,
the
yeah.
first one. And then, man, this looks cool. I'll have to check it out. So the next day, I showed up in the comic convention again, and then I saw that guy again, and then I was like, you know what? I checked out that Attack on Titan you were talking about. It looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna check it out after we're done with this Comic Con. And then one thing led to another. I got really hooked on the show, and just like everyone else, when the first season was done, I was, oh my gosh, please have a second season. And because of how Attack on Titan, how strong the first season was, I got hooked on anime again. I thought I was done with it, but then okay, what's up next? Kill la Kill. I'll watch Kill la Kill. I don't even know what it is, but then but I got hooked on that too. So one thing led to another. One anime after another came
It
along, and
never
I just
ends.
thought, yeah, it never ended. I just kept watching anime.
What about Eddie? You have your
Well,
cute toys
I
in
actually
front of you.
Keicho and Danto. I actually got into Attack on Titan a bit late as well, but it was mostly because of my sister,
Mm,
who I forgot which convention it was, but it was the one at downtown East Pasir Ris.
okay.
She actually cosplayed as Levi,
Oh,
and there was
okay.
like a reverse bungee
Yeah,
contraption over there, and then
yeah.
she actually got on the thing with the Levi
Okay.
Oh
costume.
my gosh, that's cool.
So she was like a little fidget spinner. So yeah, so that happened, and then I was like, okay, I ran out of animes to watch. I grew up with Inuyasha, Samurai X. There's not what
Mhm.
else is there to watch. And then she was like, oh, maybe just try this one. And then I
Mm,
watched,
mm.
and then like Carlo, I got hooked from the opening because it was so
Yeah.
like
It was
it was just
perfect.
yeah, it was just majestic.
It
It
was a
started
hard
with
opening, like whoosh.
and then when I watched it, and then that whole mystery around the Titans
Mm,
Mhm.
mm,
um
mm.
got me hooked because I was like, I had 10,000 questions. I'm like, okay, so these guys like they eat people, but they don't do anything. It's like, what
Yeah, yeah,
happened?
yeah,
Why there's so much steam?
yeah. Right.
So
And
yeah,
and
it's all my
I also
sisters.
actually went into it quite late. I think I just heard a lot of buzz about this anime that was very well animated and had
Mm.
the adaptation of this manga. And it was floating around because I read a lot of articles. It was just like all over. And then I asked my friend who does actually watch quite a bit of anime, although she doesn't finish everything, but she knows like generally like a lot of animes. And then I was like, oh, should I watch Attack on Titan? She said, oh, you can try and see how it goes, right? So I was late as well. I think probably it was already maybe season 2 or something like this. So I said, okay, let me delve into anime because I've tried before and I just couldn't get past like, 1 or 2 episodes kind of thing. And of course, the visuals of when you read articles, there are visuals of these animes like screenshots or whatever, and the Titan thing caught my attention as well because after years and years of being a geek person, right, and also watching a lot of movies and stuff like these, you are no more attracted to the generic, you know. Something very unusual actually, just like I crave for that thing where somebody is not just trying to appropriate somebody's ideas and coming up with something the same. So this
Mhm.
was like, oh, something interesting. And did watch the first episode. Yeah, it was a very good opening. But then after that, a lot of the exposition started coming. I say, oh no, the anime
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
again.
I
you
get it.
know
I
the
get it.
and
I
I
know
was
what you
like,
mean.
I was like telling my friend, I don't know whether I can go through.
But I
I
think
don't know whether I
I
can
think
go
with
through. Then
Attack
she
on
said,
Titan,
hang on
right?
there. Yeah. She said, hang in there. And I was like, so where do this, as like you said, a lot of thousands of questions. Where do the
Mhm.
Titan come from? Why are they doing this? Because when we find out after watching everything, this is kind of like, actually, it was like a middle of a story. There's the past and
Mm.
there's this future that we are kind of like watching towards. So I was like, I don't know. And then actually I let it go. I didn't go back to it for a long time. And then I said, and then more buzz, more buzz about Attack on Titan. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go through this and go through towards season 2 and then I was hooked. Because I think the character started to evolve in the middle of season 1 onwards.
Mm.
And that's where I got hooked. I think when they joined the cadet and form friendships and more complex teams, I guess, that hooked me in. Of course, the law of the Titans as well.
I think also for Attack on Titan, there's a lack of filler episodes, which
Mm,
was great
Yeah.
because
yeah,
it just
yeah,
went
yeah,
straight to the action. It wasn't like Naruto where I
yeah,
lost
yeah.
the plot halfway because it was suddenly like fillers. And then but this one, okay, with the exception of three, season
3,
two,
because a lot of history. Yeah,
no,
Mhm.
season
season 2
3, I
was the
think.
one with the upheaval where Erwin was trying to was trying to overthrow the nobles. That was
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
kind of lost the
I
plot there
think
because
it's
it got
season 3.
way
Yeah.
political
Yes, yes,
Yes.
halfway.
yes. So I think a lot of people were not happy in season 3 because that's where they went to the history of uh Liberia as well, right? How they ended up
Mm.
there.
Mhm.
And then the turntable of the Jaegeris and the I don't know, alliance or something like this, where their own people started to split up as well. Oh yeah, as you said, very, very political,
Mhm.
Mm.
uh and very, how you say it, the people that we felt or rooting for became like they were torn apart
It
from
was
each
very
other.
grey.
Yeah, there's very gray areas. So your mind had to also like, "Aiya, where do I stand?" And
Definitely.
what the my question was like, do you have any favorite characters going going through the
Carlo,
whole
go first.
series?
Oh, me first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like most people, with when the first season came out, Mika Sackerman was since she
Ah,
introduced me to the series, she was my favorite for a time. But then after rewatching the first season over and over, it actually became Sasha at some point,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
because she
potato
was kind of
girl.
the I would say the heart
Yeah, the heart.
The
of the
scouts,
squad.
yeah.
Yeah, but of course, I'm also a big fan of Levi. He's like the best. So So I'm a big fan of his too.
What about Eddie?
It's actually Erwin.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I think after that, Armin was kind of like an extension of Erwin ish.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And then I also like Reiner
Mm-hmm.
because
Oh.
I feel like he is one of the like his growth was one
Mm.
of the best ones that I
Mm-mm.
saw
Mm,
because he was actually from Mali, like he was like
Yes.
on the other
Yeah.
side,
yeah.
Yeah.
and to see him switch and then have that development, it was so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually cried over him. Okay, I cried
Oh.
over Reiner.
In
I
the
think
first
Rainer is one
season,
of those.
I was
Yes.
shipping I was shipping
You were shipping.
Reiner and Krista.
I mean, Reiner did have that huge crush on her.
Yeah, he still did all the way till the end, actually. But
Sniffing
yeah.
the letter.
I think he's
And
one
then
of the
you,
most self-aware ones as well. That's why
Mm,
the
yeah,
growth, the growth path.
yeah.
He's not like making excuses for himself.
yeah, yeah.
And I think he was also kind of forced into it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
I
I think
think
most
most
of the Malians.
falls into you.
Mm.
um, I actually, it might be a simple question, right? Who's your favorite character? But I really couldn't. I found it difficult to pick one. Like Carlo, you just move from season to season. I
Yes,
did
yes.
really
At
like
the end of his
Mikasa
Levi.
at first too. But then I found she was a bit whiny, like, obsessed with Aaron. One
Oh,
track mind.
Mikasa.
Yeah.
So it just annoyed me for a while. But she has her heart in place, and she does wonder as well whether this is the path that she needs to go. But then it's always about Aaron still, So it's like I was quite annoyed with her as sometimes while watching the show. So then I began to switch as well. And yeah, I mean I do like Levi because he's very cool,
Mhm.
he's very cool, but I don't later I'll raise a question. And he looks good as the anime character, like the suave type, silent and cool.
Tiny, very small.
Uh, but I think I should say my favorite is Hange because she's
Oh, yeah.
Hanji, yeah.
yeah Hange, yeah, because she's quite intellectual and she has a plan and she keeps them together actually. She's quite a leader. Uh, she's keeping them together. I think they look to Levi, but actually I think it's Hange who actually brings them towards the next level or the next stage or whatever. So I was quite sad that she died sacrificing herself and some of the
Yeah.
others to prolong their escape. So I was quite sad about that. So I have to say that that's my favorite character.
They went out in a blaze of glory, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
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 But
Ouch.
with a really cool soundtrack to go
Yeah.
with it.
True.
But yeah, I was also sad that Sasha. I didn't read that manga, so I didn't
Mhm.
expect how Sasha would die. And it was quite sudden, right? If you don't know the manga,
Yeah.
you didn't expect Gabby to be the one to suddenly just do that on the airship. So
Mm.
I was like very sad about Sasha as well, and she's the adorable one.
Yeah.
She's just so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, I
She
know,
even had
right?
her own little love story with the
Yeah,
chef. Yeah.
yeah. I always forget his name, and I'm always telling my sister, "Oh, the Italian guy,
A little bit. Sasha.
Nico,
Let me
Nicolo."
put her up on screen. Hey, Brett.
Oh, yeah.
Aww.
Oh,
I think there's Krista at the back.
Yeah, that's Krista.
yeah, man. There are so many characters that you cannot probably remember all of what happened. I really couldn't remember everything as well. You probably need to review the whole series now, right? Without breaks. A
Yeah.
whole 10 years.
because there's a whole yeah, even like the most minor characters have a great personality.
Yeah.
Like the guy who kept biting his tongue,
Mm.
um,
Is that
and the
Oluo?
girl who, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Oluo, I think. That
Yeah,
he
something
was
like
trying
that.
to talk and then he keeps biting.
Yeah, and he kept trying to be like Levi. He was in Squad Levi, right? And then the Petra, the girl who has a
Oh,
kind of secret crush on
Levi.
Levi as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's hard
Nanaba.
to really pick one character that's
Mm,
your
yeah.
absolute favorite, because all of them were well done.
Yeah.
It's a yeah.
So that's one thing as well, because I'm so amazed by the creativity of this whole universe that Hajime Isayama has
Mhm.
created. It's like out of the brain of this guy, right? I don't know whether he sits and dreams and thinks about it the entire day or something like this, like to come out with such a rich background, history,
Mhm.
and as you said, the characters, some do not usually go to waste, even though they are secondary characters.
Mm.
There
Mhm.
is some point of they move the story along, or they give you some more insights about the character, the main characters. So I really, really admire him. I know he suffered some anxiety as well doing this whole
I
entire
bet.
series, the
Yeah.
manga one, right? Don't blame him, man. It's deep. I think it's
Mhm.
really one of the most complex stories. I'm just not about anime or whatever. It's like one of the most complex stories. If you talk about Tolkien, right, it's fantasy,
Mhm.
deep and wide. And then this is like the anime version, dark fantasy, deep and wide. uh, for one guy to think about all this and all the gray areas, I think it's really amazing.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
the
definitely.
studios and the writers who are able to capture most of it, I should say, it runs quite closely to the manga, except for some little changes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm.
To the yeah, that they are amazing as well. That's why they took so long to finish a piece, right? Because it takes a while to animate and put that into context as well in a
I think that's a
different
big
medium.
issue now
Yeah, that's a big
with
issue now.
animation, especially with
Correct.
the studio that's doing with MAPPA right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Are they
MAPPA
involved in
and
the? Are they involved in those studios though? I don't think so, right?
MAPPA, sorry, MAPPA.
Mappa is Mappa involved
MAPPA is
in?
in Attack on Titan for this
I
final.
know, but they are not involved in the other like all the
Yeah,
MCU
what was the
They're
first studio?
Casco
with
Wit
with
Studio Wit,
studios.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently, right now MAPPA's facing a problem where they're overworking the animators. So
As well.
Jujutsu Kaisen might be on pause because the animators
Mm,
work on a
Oh.
crunch. So
mm,
I don't know.
but
Unionize, man.
um, I think it is historical as well lah. The anime and manga houses are always overworked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it
artists
has to
are
change
very
lah.
poorly paid as well, and they just work their hands off literally
Exactly.
to death.
Passion.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of passion.
Yeah, a lot of passion, right? Um, are there any other things as well? I mentioned about the world building. What do you think about the world? What things struck you as something very unique about the world that the creator has built on Attack on Titan?
I like that you learn about the world kind of alongside Eren, because
Mm.
it all starts off with his little tiny family unit, and then it just grows and grows and grows from there. So even by the ring of walls, it even grows with that, and then it grows beyond the walls, and it grows beyond
Mm,
their island, and it keeps on growing. So you don't get too well. There was one point I think I did get overwhelmed, but you don't get too overwhelmed with
mm,
all the information that comes in with all the world building. But I
mm,
like the way they did it, where it all just comes in as Eren kind of experiences
mm,
stuff. Yeah.
mm,
Totally
mm.
agree with that. I mean, like it all culminates to that point where they arrive at the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was going to mention
Right.
about that. Yeah.
And then that's when Armin also, they had that conversation and then Armin was like, it's my fault for showing you
Yeah.
the sea, for telling you
Yeah.
about the sea.
You're right.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
exactly. This is that period. This is that period where they have like bad hair.
yes, when they were younger.
It's like that one Goblet of Fire, I think, in Harry Potter. Everyone
Yeah.
suddenly had long hair for some reason. But yeah.
Yeah. But
But
I
yes,
like how they tie it up, to I think it goes well with real life scenarios as well, like certain things of your past, or somebody that you know of mentions about something, then that's how they went to the sea, right? And then that's
Mhm.
all the things that happen after that as well.
it all started with
The
the sea.
motivations, yeah.
Yeah. But that was a pivotal moment in the whole story with Eren because that's when
Yes,
he kind of changes. His
yes,
mindset
yes,
really
yes. He
changes
changed
from
his
there.
mindset,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And as you say, even though it was quite overwhelming, that turning point was what brought us to the history of what happened between the two nations. If not, we were not aware what happens outside beyond the sea, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, which is also quite sad because that world building took us to another era, and you can't help but connect to what's happening around us in our
Now,
generation as well. And now,
exactly.
Yeah.
uh, a lot of things are similar in the past as well as now. And it's like you wonder, like humans, do we even
No,
ever learn our lessons, right?
even the
So
anime says the same thing.
yeah,
It
even the
Yeah.
anime says the same thing at the end of the post credits.
Yeah.
oh that when wow, when I watched that whole part where
This,
it fast forwards through the
yeah, yeah,
years,
yeah,
right?
Hmm.
Like you know how when you watch animes, you always think, oh, it's gonna end up happy, blah blah blah, happy ending and all. And then that my emotions were up and down. Okay, I was like, oh, okay, progress. And
Yeah.
then like, cause I read the manga, I knew how it ends, but
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was like an anime only ending. And then
Mm-mm-mm.
it just it just went down, and then that despair you felt
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you see the bombings happening at the
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, so
And
good.
this one is not even with any titans, right? It's just humans doing bad
Yes,
things to each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
which
which
we
is
have been doing for centuries.
exactly.
Uh, it's quite sad, lah, quite depressing, and you just wonder if maybe sometimes, okay, I have to confess, I'm sometimes a person who tells other people, like, I think human beings suck, humanity suck in general,
I think
you
we
know
all have that moment.
Yeah.
uh, so I'm like, if there are not humans around, right, probably the earth will be happier, maybe, because
Definitely, yes.
we are not really true predators, although people say we are the predator, but we are just scavenging the whole earth to some point where it may not be recover.
Hmm.
You may not recover, and that's not a predator. That's like the largest cockroach on earth with two legs or something. Like a pest. Pest.
That
That's
makes
the
sense.
term I
That makes
wanted
so
to
much
use.
sense.
A pest.
We're all
and
Yeah.
crossbreeding.
and sometimes I feel so angry about humanity, and I feel that, yeah, we are not really good for this the whole being, of us being here. What's the reason?
Oh my
I
god!
And
felt.
Speaking of,
maybe
yeah,
that's
sorry.
Yeah. Go
why
on.
I do agree with, in ways that, although it's bad, yes, it's bad. I know it is evil and it's bad of what Aaron did, right? But sometimes you can't fault him. It's like we do evil things to each other. We are
I,
horrible. I
sorry,
mean,
Carlo, you want
feel
to say
free,
something?
feel free to
Yeah.
disagree with me. I mean, this is an open discussion.
No, it's just very, very early on. I was already feeling like, man, people aren't great because there they were, that common threat they had, and even the little kingdom that they were in. They had that common threat of giants trying to eat them, and they were still fighting against each other, trying to
Yeah.
gain power and stuff. And like, man, outside those walls, there are things that are trying to eat all of you, and you're still like arguing on who
Yeah,
who
yeah,
who who
yeah,
should
yeah.
who should
Mm.
be the power of the kingdom and stuff. And it's kind of like in well, one of the things I would say to people when I'm trying to convince them to watch the first season of Attack on
Mhm.
Titan,
Mm.
was that because back then, like The Walking Dead was really big, and
Yes.
was I would tell them, it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but with giants
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
zombies.
Yeah.
And then, but the same problems that were happening in zombie movies were happening in Attack on Titan too. There was a lot of infighting with the survivors, and so sometimes when you watch these, like that's exactly what's going to happen if all this really did happen, because people
I
are
would
like
think
that.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
don't know if you kill off 80% of humanity, would actually be better. I don't know. Of course, according to the anime, it kind of doesn't, but yet it does. I think it tells you that it goes in cycles.
Mm.
Because at
It
the
does.
end
It does.
it grew back again, right? There was
Yeah.
a lush like garden or some the forest grew back, and then there were still humans around where this small boy discovered the tree that Aaron
And he's
was
gonna
buried
fall into
in.
that again.
And then after that, I think the cycle continues. So, I guess we have fated a sense. I think humanity is fated to go through these cycles. And sometimes you just wonder, maybe you're the unlucky one, if you're in this scenario where there is a war or conflict between certain nations against each other. Uh, I don't know how it can be resolved really, because we are just innately so power hungry and revengeful
I mean,
in
like
a
what
way.
Aaron said, right? He's just a big idiot who just fell into some power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
I think it
anybody who thinks
also,
they can change the world probably is not having the right notion as well.
yeah, no, but also I think it's also about how you react to this situation. So Aaron reacted really harshly. He was
Yeah,
like, he
scorched,
fell
yeah,
into the power and then he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone, blah blah
yeah,
blah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then you have a character like Levi who
mm,
has all this power. He is humanity's strongest soldier.
yeah,
Um, he could easily turn bad, but
yeah,
he
but he
didn't.
didn't.
Like he chose
Mm.
to not do it. He
Yeah,
chose to, in the end, help the refugee
yeah,
kids with the lollipop.
yeah. So I
I mean,
I
rebuild.
learned quite a, I mean, because I'm quite negative towards humanity as a whole since I was young. So I think now
You are
very
Aaron.
sad. Yeah, very sad. I think I could have become Aaron actually. But then I kind of like reinforce more positive thinking, as you said, about Levi and also about Armin, because
Mm.
he's also always on thinking about a way to get out of a certain scenario, right? He's
Yes.
also a
Yeah.
brainy person, and he will fight with himself internally as well. What he should do,
Hmm.
actually, he's quite fatalistic. He's like, I want to give up, but no, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
um, for me, I feel that the positive parts of humanity is not to see it as a whole. I say, I believe that what people have observed, even Hajime Isayama has observed that things go in cycles.
Mm.
So we kind of like kill ourselves, and then something gets better, and then something starts again. The way to look at humanity positively is actually the smaller parts of it, like your own human interactions with good
The little
friends.
pockets.
Yeah, the little pockets of things. I think that is what makes it more meaningful, lah. And then you don't feel so aggrieved
So nihilistic.
about human nature as a whole. Yeah. If you're a religious person, there's always this black and white, good and evil. But you're not so religious than me. You start to think about all the gray areas in between as well. And it sometimes can be overwhelming. So you just kind of have to keep looking at the positive aspects around you. That will make you kind of believe in people again.
Humanity. Yeah.
Hello, yeah. That's what my thinking is. And after the last final episode, I think it was even stronger about the sacrifice that what's the name now?
Mikasa.
Mikasa did for
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah, I have brain farts from time to time. I think it's Carlo and I,
It's okay. There's like a lot of characters in
Yeah.
Attack on Titan.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's quite sad, and yet it's quite brave of her that she need to do the right thing and the right thing for
Mhm.
everyone. That is a sacrifice that not many people will be able to do, regardless, in that kind of scenario. It's not
For
easy.
sure.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I have to say again, why I do kind of like fall in love with Attack on Titan. It really throws a mirror to ourselves.
Hmm.
Mhm.
We look at ourselves. It's not just a cartoon, or some animation thing that is for pure entertainment. I should think it's something deeper, which is
Yes.
what I crave actually. Right, Carlo?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. It started off like, oh, this is a cool action,
Yeah,
kind of zombie apocalypse kind of thing. But then, as the seasons come along, it gets very, very deep and very complicated.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
admittedly, sometimes too complicated for me.
yeah,
But yeah, they tied it up all nice and neat in the end. And but yes, you would start thinking really deep about, as we did tonight. We started thinking really deep about humanity, and
Life
uh,
sucks.
no, I'm gonna be the Sasha. I'm gonna be like,
I'm just like
you know,
the
it's not.
potato.
As long as you have your hot potato, you'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the negative part, but actually it brings you to the positive side as well. Yeah.
Hmm.
Of
Mm,
I mean, yeah, you kind of think of the negative side, but because that's what's being dramatized
Yeah.
and that's what the action is about. But then it kind of like pulls you back to know that it's not actually all about it as well. There's always two sides of a coin, and humanity has survived for so long as well because after all, there is some good, I suppose.
yeah,
There
like
has
you said, the pockets of good.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pockets are
Yeah.
good, which in the end makes a difference. So
Yep,
that's what I came
definitely.
up with. Yeah. Um, any other favorite turning points that you would like to highlight that you couldn't
Uh,
like stands out in your mind whenever people mention Attack on Titan?
There is a characteristic of the anime that makes it very easy for me to recommend, because again, when it came out, when the first season came out, I wasn't into anime anymore. And
Mm,
but because it doesn't have the trappings of your usual anime,
mm, mm.
for one thing, you don't have to have any knowledge of Japanese culture, or
Yes, I
because
think that's
all
one
the
of
characters
yeah.
are not Japanese, for one thing.
Mm, mm, yeah.
yeah.
And it just has this great mainstream appeal that you could recommend it to anyone who's into, and again, at the time, zombies were the thing. If you're into that, you would like Attack on Titan.
I know Tina
And
would.
Yeah,
and
I love Walking Dead still.
yeah. Do you still follow it? I kind of
Yes,
fell off.
I fell
Unfortunately,
off.
I fell off. But if it gets if you get hooked onto that anime, then it'll take you along through this very deep introspection as of humanity, and and of not just of humanity, but of war, and who are the people that benefit from war, who are the people who absolutely lose at
yeah,
war and everything.
yeah,
And yeah, so it's just such a fascinating phenomenon, this series.
yeah.
So,
Eddie?
right? It's a huge study of the human psyche. Um, I mean, even though I think it was in the middle of the season two. I think there were like rumors of how Isayama was like very nationalistic.
Mm,
And then like a lot of my friends don't really like Attack on Titan because they heard that Isayama was a nationalist,
mm,
was very pro Japanese and stuff. But
mm.
when you look at it, it's basically based off the German
Yeah, yeah,
the
the
German
Nazis,
situation
yeah,
back then.
and the Jews, yeah. Mm,
Yeah, and now it's the other situation. So it
But actually,
wasn't. I don't.
nationalistic or not, it's quite general. Actually, it happens
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
yeah.
So
almost every
I.
war
Yeah. So
or
I didn't want
every
to get into the
occupation.
argument
Yeah.
about the author's beliefs,
Mm.
but
Hmm.
from what I saw when I was watching it, I was like, this is what is happening right now, and this is what's going to
Yeah.
happen
I
again.
didn't feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think it was quite generic to me. I mean, general,
I
humanity and
mean,
wars.
yeah, I feel like it could have been worse. He could have been into kids. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right. There's
Let's
so
not
many
name
people
another
who talk
creator
about,
or another
Yes.
yeah.
series.
Yep.
There's so many war movies anyway. So why
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that he was being particularly Japanese nationalistic. Yeah,
I mean, and they're
I didn't
Japanese,
feel that at
which
all from Attack on Titan.
yeah, I
yeah,
didn't. I didn't. Yeah, because it just felt like it was reading a history book. It was like
Mm.
something pulled up from the history book. So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is history class all over again.
yeah. History kind of.
Except
Um,
that
Reading the
they have
Silmarillion.
giant.
Although I know a lot of people probably dropped out in season 3 because that's when the political
Yeah,
discussions
yeah.
came about and how uh, there was spy. Actually, to me, it was quite interesting. There were spies. There were
And
people
the
who were,
Mali
brought up.
arc was great though.
Yeah, they were brought
Mhm.
up. The children, they were brought up as Malians. I mean, they thought that their
Yeah.
elders were evil because of the propaganda, and
Mhm.
then because of that, they disavowed themselves from being elders and wanted to even, annihilate their own
Yeah.
people. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
brainwashing and propaganda and racism and genocide. Is like the children. Oh my gosh, how sad is this? It was interesting to me. It could be too much, as Carlo mentioned. Yes, because it was really quite intense in a way because of how rich that history was.
Mm.
So I guess if you read a manga, it might be easier to follow. But because it was an anime, they had to condense part of that, I
Not
guess.
really, not
Not
really. I
Not
really.
think
really.
the manga
I
was
think
more
the anime
convoluted.
was an
Was
improvement.
close. I didn't read the manga, so I can't compare. So
Manga was very convoluted.
was close. Yeah, yeah. Um, but it was interesting because that's how the world was.
Mhm.
You did all you could to gain power, whether you use children or suicide bombers or
Yeah.
whatever you wanted. And that was a bit. Yeah, it could. I did struggle in some of the episodes, but yet again, uh,
He pulled through, man.
yeah, it was actually just part of a larger story. That's why I kept watching. I was curious to find out then what has this all got to tie up with Aaron's psyche, like
Mm.
Yeah.
what is that all going to do? Why are you telling us all this history? What's the point of it all? That's what got me more and more curious. That's why I continued.
But I think for like in the anime, they made a change in that scene where Eren and Armin were talking, and
Mm,
then in the manga, Armin actually thanks Eren for committing
killing
genocide.
people, yeah.
Yeah, but in this one, like in the anime, I think Isayama, because Isayama is known to work very closely with the studio, right?
Animes, yeah.
So
Animes.
he made that change. He decided to change it where Armin takes responsibility for his actions.
Yeah.
And and thank God he didn't do the whole like thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
whatever you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, yeah. I read about that too. I think that's a more nuanced take, rather
Mhm.
than the mangas, where everybody was actually up in arms about how can just like
Say thank you.
blast me. Yeah, thank you
Because
for
sometimes it might be
genocide.
translation as well.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
we won't know.
Yeah, we will know, I guess. But I think he was probably not. Maybe he was in a hurry and had he didn't really go through what he really wanted to say in that particular panel. or a few
Probably.
panels.
It's a
Yeah.
weekly.
And so that's
It's a
why he
weekly.
decided to, change it as well, because it's not his intention.
Yeah,
It was not
probably.
his real intention. Yeah. And to make it clearer, I guess, to the readers out there, that is what
Mhm.
he meant through Amin. Actually, I quite like Amin in the end, although she was quite annoying in the season one. He was so
He has a
whiny.
good character growth as well. So
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
he's
I really
Erwin
liked
Jr. now.
Yeah, I really like the scene where they really drove it home just how valuable he is. It's when they were
Mm,
trapped in the armory or something
yeah.
with a bunch of titans, and they only like a few of them had the ODM gear,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but he came
Yeah.
up with this whole strategy for them to
Yeah.
get out of it. Yeah,
Yeah. He's the
so I like
strategist.
that because prior to that, I'm like, who is this guy? He's
Why is
just
he
there.
whiny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whiny. He's like the runt being
Why
bullied.
is he such good friends with Mikasa and Aaron? Right? He's
My
just
dude
there.
can't even run fast. I'm sorry, I can't even run. But I'm just making fun of him.
But then, yeah,
were there were
they
there
showed
any
just how good he
moments?
is. Yeah.
Were there any moments during the series that actually made you kind of tear up or emotional?
Oh,
Mm,
like I said, the Reiner part at the end, because we knew how when he was growing up, he was like ostracized. People didn't like him.
Yeah.
He was weak and all,
Yeah.
and he did whatever he could. And his mom was basically pushing him to,
Yes.
bring honor to our family and
Yeah.
stuff because we are Eldians, right? And then in the end, his mom realized that all this wasn't worth it. Like she just wants him back.
Yeah.
And then
mhm.
when they finally meet after the
Yeah. Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
yeah, then I was like, I just full on bawled.
Oh.
Oh,
I was like, no. And even though Erwin's my favorite, I didn't even cry during the the suicide.
oh, yeah.
I was just like, no. I didn't cry, but I was just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Reiner, definitely I cried over him.
Yeah. I mean, as I
um,
mentioned, I like Hangi, so
mhm.
or Hanji,
Days of
I
Glory.
always remember. Yeah, the last scene with her and Levi, and he gave that last battle cry to her, dedicate your hearts, and
Yeah.
and like uh, that was very touching. I think they had a very good friendship for a very long time, and for her to do that, knowing that she would die to
Hmm.
Mhm.
give them a way out. That was very touching. I think also, I mean, I don't really like the family, the Grisha and all that, because they suck. But that scene where Aaron kind of like used the powers to go back in time, and then projected the father to Zeke.
Mm.
I
Mm,
think that was quite touching actually, because he's the one who actually betrayed the whole family.
yeah.
There's a lot of unresolved
Daddy issues.
family stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family issues.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of daddy issues in there.
yeah, daddy issues as well. I have a lot of daddy issues also. Probably that's why I found that quite touching. What about you, Carlo?
Nothing really made me tear up. But
Emotional?
the part that kind of touched me the
Mm.
most, and this is gonna be a bit weird, or not really weird, but was when Aaron kind of revealed that he had feelings for Mikasa
The one at the refugee
Oh,
camp.
at the very end. Like, it's just him and Armin in whatever space they
Oh,
were in,
yeah,
oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then like, oh, is it really okay if Mikasa just ends up with someone else? Like, no, I
yeah,
want
yeah,
her
yeah. Oh, yeah, I
to
remember that one. Yes.
still always whine about
No,
me
I want, I want her to
When
remember me forever and pine for me
forever.
forever.
when that happened, I was like, you little shit.
You treated her so bad all
Yeah,
your life, and
yeah.
the whole time you actually had feelings for her. Oh my gosh. And
I just said it from the beginning.
imagine, right, if he fessed up about that really early on, like way back, and so much might have been avoided. but but
Exactly.
yeah,
But
but
no.
I don't know, but he was on a mission. He was very driven to his goal and everything and all that. But I kind of liked that little moment, and even Armin was taken aback. Wow, okay, I
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah, I know,
I
right?
didn't expect that. But I like that it kind of brought them back into a short for a short moment, brought them back to a more innocent time.
Yes,
And
Mm.
yeah.
he was being very very honest about what he was feeling at that moment, and even about Mikasa. And yeah, I kind of like that in a way. Like, okay, this is the what do you call this? There's a term for it where um right before you die you like fess up everything, and
Yeah,
because
post
he
death
knew it was
therapy.
coming. Yeah, he knew it was coming. He knew he was about to die, and so he was laying it all out. Okay, you know what? The whole time I was treating Mikasa like crap. I actually really was into her, and like, okay, that's kind of touching. But yeah, bye, Aaron.
Ah, and
I don't know
you know,
that.
it's
Just
yeah. We
reminds
talk
me.
about how Attack on Titan mirrors real life human scenarios and real life world scenarios, but there were also a lot of weird sci-fi moments, right? Like this spine parasite thing that actually infected Ymir, and that's
Oh,
how the whole thing started. Uh, Not really sure what that's all about. Is that just a ploy to explain whatever
Pretty much,
is
actually.
happening? Yeah,
I think
right.
yeah,
Yeah, and,
it's
and
just
then
a
after that,
catalyst.
yeah, and then after that, when Aaron died, it kind of like disappeared. But why? That's my question. Does it still exist?
It's probably in the tree again.
Probably in the tree. Maybe that's why the end the
Probably more
boy
of them
goes
in the
there.
tree.
Mm.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's kind of left up to individual interpretation. I think. I thought that they had gotten rid of it.
Mm,
It's gone. The whole ability to
Mm.
turn into titans. It's gone. I forget how I came to that conclusion,
mm,
but yeah, that was my thinking. The
Because
whole
yeah,
thing
but
with the little girl, she got
Ymir,
Emir,
her,
yeah,
yeah,
Emir,
Emir,
it's yeah.
yeah, her whole issue got resolved in some way. So I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because hers was just unrequited love,
yeah.
which was what Aaron should
Yeah.
should
Then
have
my
had
question,
in the
my
beginning.
question is then it's not just a being that exists by on its own. Is it a being that needs? I don't know, man. I thought it was
I think
something that
it needs that emotional baggage for it to
yeah.
latch onto.
That's my question. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking too logically. Probably I should just accept what is coming.
That it's gone.
That is gone. Uh, uh, but yeah, I did like question like what actually it is. Is it it's just an alien thing, a parasite or unknown creature living on Earth all this while? Has it been
Really, it's a
around?
real thing. It's based off a
Yeah.
real, like, prehistoric uh creature. It looks
Hmm.
exactly the same, which I forgot the name
Really?
of.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, but I don't think it does the
Mm.
same thing as the one in the movie. I think it's just minding its own business. But yeah, in the manga, it definitely was. It kind of aggravated, I guess. It aggravated Ymir's need to be loved, which is
Oh,
why she was
okay,
trapped
okay.
in the what's it called, the
Coordinate.
paths.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the coordinate.
yeah.
So yeah, and then that was the whole thing. So basically, the moral of the story is just go to therapy.
So my question also then it kind of feeds into people's emotions just as a parasite as well,
Probably.
probably.
Mm, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Mm,
It grew
yeah,
so big.
yeah, right.
And the last part when Rhino was trying to hold it down, it's like, why is it so huge?
That last fight scene was interesting as well, where the old past nine titans were all activated
Oh yeah.
to fight off, and to stop them from getting to Aaron.
Mm.
Hmm.
I
And
just
in the end,
I'm still like unable to the whole thing is so bizarre and so strange, and yet it exists. This story, I mean, I really do recommend people who haven't watched Attack on Titan. You're looking for something really weird but deep, right, and unique.
Hmm.
This is why I just kind of fall in love with this anime, and it took me like 10 years to finish.
Took everyone
Everyone
10
10
years to
years.
finish.
Yeah,
Everyone 10 years to finish. I mean,
we're like, just take your time. Don't
yeah,
die what animating is.
yeah. So if you're first time starting, start it slow. You can now start
Mm,
from season 1 to season 4 at your own pace.
yeah.
Yep. And then there's also the
Uh,
original video animations if you want to look at Levi's
Yes.
backstory, which is
That's
great.
the filler stuff, isn't it? They
Yeah,
put all the filler stuff outside of the.
the
I
main
kind of like
story.
that. Yeah.
I have heard complaints from some viewers that say that Levi is too overpowered, like
To
too,
OP.
yeah.
That's why they
Do
had
you
to
agree
like
with
name
that?
him. That's why he had to be exploded. I don't know, lose an eye, lose two fingers, have a wonky knee. Yeah, that's why. He's like, we need to bring him down a notch, but not kill him at all.
Oh, I'm glad he survived because he's cool.
I know,
Yeah,
right? Like, you
he's
already
so
killed
cool.
like the full character Erwin, and then like
Yeah.
I don't think I can bear it if Levi's gone as well.
Yeah, yeah, right. You need that guy in the show.
I need his snarkiness.
Yeah,
His
I know, right?
comment.
He's always got that.
It's like, okay, my kids are
Yeah,
running off
yeah,
again.
yeah, fine.
It's like, oh, Aaron and John are like fighting again.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I was like, I didn't read the manga as I said. So, when
Mm.
he got exploded, whoosh, whoosh, I was like, no, don't
No,
die.
his one purpose in life is to kill Zeke for Erwin. That's all.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
He's
the
like,
thing.
by hook or by crook, I am
Yeah,
gonna
to
cross.
look at the satisfaction of his face when he did that.
Yeah.
The fact that I felt bad for Zeke for that one moment because I knew he was tired of it all.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah,
he
yeah.
just
Yeah.
I mean,
rebuilt
he
himself.
wasn't the one who's asking for genocide anyway. He was just
He
like
asked for
not in this
euthanization.
way. Yeah, but not in
Euthanization.
this
Yeah.
way, like storm, storm, storm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And his
And so many great characters.
euthanasia was probably, I don't know how many percent, maybe less than 80%.
I didn't. The one thing that kind of took me out of that whole immersion was how many colossal titans were there for it to be possible to annihilate like 80% of the
Yeah,
Yeah.
population?
There
yeah,
shouldn't
Because
be
the wolves,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the wolves aren't that big.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like the only thing that threw me off. But after that, I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Accept
Maybe
Just
they
let
it.
it
just
go.
piled up.
Just accept.
Just accept it.
Maybe they just
No, but I,
multiplied somewhere.
you know what? I guess it's not. I should say, the world scenario that he's writing in this story is not like 7 billion people like we have now. It's already probably smaller. So 80% of a smaller,
Yeah, but they
you get
made
what
it
I mean?
appear
Yeah,
like there's just no way to escape. There's no
yeah,
space. There's no
There
gap to
are other
run
cultures
through.
though.
yeah.
He showed the other cultures in like Shadow.
I guess they don't want to show you everything. Storm, storm, storm for one episode.
Yeah, but wow, if that really happens in real life, I think I'll just like take
Just
my
kill me now, right? Faster.
yeah.
No need to run.
Well, they had airplanes. Apparently, they could have just flown over the Titans. To be honest, but yeah,
Apparently,
just let go of all sense. Just,
I'm just gonna assume that they don't really have the what's it called, the technology to make more planes.
well, they
Mm.
had airships, they had zeppelins
They had
too, but
Yeah,
airships, yeah.
they
I
had
guess
there's
the
ODM
a
gear.
thing as well, like Paradise was within their walls for so long that they didn't have any much of technological advances, right, compared
yeah.
Yeah.
to across the sea.
So
So
it was
that's
a
also
bit
good.
jarring for me when they suddenly had trains in the
Yeah,
story
yeah, yeah.
and all
You
that.
weren't.
Yeah.
You were so used to the village
The-
life, no?
yeah. All they had was horses, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
horses.
Cut.
Yeah, I think we've discussed quite a lot. Is there any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Last thought.
Yeah.
What's the thing on Titan? If you haven't, I need more
It is
people to talk about it.
readily available now, so
Yeah,
not like back then.
YouTube 4 parts or
Uh,
LimeWire. Wait, I don't think
I
LimeWire.
just want to
So,
comment though. I don't have any collectibles. I know you guys do, right? Do you want to show
Mhm.
any of it stuff that you have
I have
bought?
the random ones. Wait, hold on. Let's see if
I have
Look at this Arwin and Levi
So
cat.
cute.
They're so bad. And like,
oh cute.
Where do you get
I don't
those
have
from?
anything nearby. Oh
Where do you get
cute.
them from? Where do
where
you
did I
get?
get it? I got it online.
But
I
Carlo,
have
you
the
have your cape.
yeah, I have the cape and I have the Figmas right here. Well, this
Famous
one's
are so
from
great.
Genshin, but yeah, there are these how many are they? One, two, three, four Figmas that I bought when the first season came out. So I pre-ordered these when they came out, and I was supposed to open them, but I got too busy. So, but since it's been so long and I never opened them, just I guess just gonna keep them in the box. And this cape too, back from 2013. It's a 10-year-old cape.
Ooh.
It's it has the wings of freedom on the back and all that.
Wow.
I was just so into it. I was so into Attack on Titan
This is a
back
bunch
in
of leaks, okay?
2013 because I thought I was done. I was done with anime. Oh, anime, whatever. But man, yeah, it really brought me back into the whole anime world.
Yeah, it brought me into the anime role. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's going to consume my time now in the anime stuff. Now that it's
Oh, there's a lot
finished.
of good stuff now, actually. But
I
yeah,
know,
Now, yeah,
right?
now the stories are getting better.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I may
yeah.
delve
I have
into
to say,
another
it's
thing
not
now.
all about the things that turned me off from anime before Attack on Titan. Um, a lot of the new stuff doesn't have them, so I'm happy about that.
What is that? What is the thing that you think that they don't have?
Yeah, a lot of the anime trappings, like a fan service, I'm not into that.
Mm-mm,
And
mm-mm.
This section. I'm sorry, but it's true.
yeah, but no, that's fine. But if they actually put it in the show, then yeah, I'm not into that.
Mm,
And
yeah,
yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff. And sometimes you have to know about how the Japanese are, which
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah.
And
Correct.
to
Like they're
understand
very
bits, yeah,
Japanese
bits and
culture
pieces
thing. Yeah.
of anime. So there's that cultural divide. Sometimes it's not all the time.
Mm,
But yeah, Attack on Titan didn't have any of that. And I feel because I got back into anime from Attack on Titan, I kind of grew as an individual as well because I did open myself up to the trappings trappings of anime. So compared to before Attack on Titan, I am a bit more accepting of how fandom is, and I sort of am kind of like it as well. And but and I got open to great stories in anime, and I'm still
yeah.
watching it until now. There is a
Mm,
whole genre of anime that I'm really into that
mm,
I didn't think I would be, but I am.
mm.
And yeah, so that's me.
Happy.
Me,
Any
I
last
mean,
thoughts?
I've always been into anime, but
Mm,
Mhm.
it takes me a while to get into like
mm.
the show. But Attack on Titan is definitely that one. Like if you like history and you like fantasy and you like hot guys, yeah, this is for you.
Yeah, there are a lot of hot
I'm
guys
not
there.
into hot guys,
And
but I
cute
did like
girls,
it too.
Cute girls.
Oh well,
Suck
cute
yeah,
girls
some of
can,
them are
they
cute.
can kick butt.
Mikasa
Yeah,
is cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. She's stone cold.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but like I think it's a good anime for you to start off with if you
mm,
want.
If you like this
Yes,
kind
Uh,
I
of
agree. Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
100%.
Or else you just start, just be, just start with the slice of life stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I should say if you're not into the gory stuff, then it might not be for you. You find it too disturbing.
Yeah, yeah, that's
It
true.
can get. I have to warn those who are not familiar with Attack on Titan. It is gory, and it's sometimes so gory because this is what you can imagine what war is going to be like.
Yeah.
Mm,
Limbs flying everywhere, blood spattering, people being trampled, and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes they're trampled while they're fighting.
yeah.
So it's kind of if you're easily disturbed by this kind of real life, almost real life
Hmm.
scenarios, then I guess this is not for you. But if you are like us who crave for something like deep, and there's a lot of character growth,
Hmm.
um, there's a background to the motivations of these characters, good or bad. It also makes you question where is your ethical stand on stuff, things
Yeah.
that are not so black and white. So it does bring, as I said just now earlier in the live stream as well, what I really like about Attack on Titan is a mirror to ourselves as a person,
Yes.
about where you stand.
Yep.
Are you for this side or that side or none at all, and why? And also a mirror to humanity as a whole. It is actually one of the deepest stories that I've actually come across in recent times, actually. So I was so engrossed with that, and that's why I love it a lot. So thank you, Carlo and Atty, for joining me today and for letting me let out steam. Because I've been like wanting to talk about Attack on Titan after the final episode. Uh, and hang on in there while I address to the audiences again for this live stream. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching my live with Diva live streams. I hope they entertain you as well as make you think about some things, as we discuss about either about comics or creative endeavors or movie reviews, and in this instance, an anime recap on Attack on Titan. This might most probably be the last live stream for this year, but that's not saying that it will be the last. I do have a guest in January 2024, so I will be continuing with Live with Little Diva as long as I can possibly do this, and I will try to get a good mix of interesting guests for next year as well. And of course, from time to time, I will pull in friends like, Carlo, Eddie, Jet, and John for reviews and recaps because they add on to a lot more insights than me sometimes. So thank you for watching. And if you don't have the time, you can put this on uh, during, after this live stream ends. And you can also pass it along to your friends who love Attack on Titan very much. I'm going to get my guests back on screen again. Hi, Carlo, Eddie. Let's say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. Bye, everyone. See you
Bye
again next
bye.
Bye.
time.